Hi Dusty Betties and Dusty Boys, I'm Tess and welcome to another episode of Sidewalk Sessions. Today's challenge is all about the front brake. In this Sidewalk session, Tailwind Nutrition is going to be giving away some of their endurance fuel and some other cool stuff. So to find out what you can win and how to win, make sure you watch all the way to the end of the video. If you're new to using your front brake, welcome to the world of front braking. There's a reason these bikes have these, and I promise it's not to kill you. Now, brakes aren't an on-off switch. When you drive a car and you see a stop sign coming, you ease into it. You don't just jam on the brakes at the last minute. And a lot of the times, it's the same on a bike. You'll also notice that cars have bigger rotors and more powerful brakes in the front. That's because about 70% of your stopping power comes from the front brakes. On a bike, if you neglect to use your front brake, you lose a lot of your braking power. This will cause you to skid and lose control coming down steep terrain and around corners. This will really hold you back as you start riding more and get more comfortable riding faster down trails. Here's one of the most common bad braking scenarios that I see on the trail. It's people who are using both brakes, but they still don't have enough front brake, causing them to skid and lose control coming down steep terrain. Now, a lot of people think I can just always use both brakes evenly and I don't need to know which is front and which is rear. But I promise you're going to get to a point in your riding where you're starting to ride faster and more aggressively, and it's going to be important to be able to distinguish and be strategic about your brakes. Here in the United States, my front brake is on the left and my rear brake is on the right. In places like the UK and other parts of the world, those may be reversed. So just make sure you know where your front brake is before you get started. When I go down this hill using only rear brake, note the loss of traction as I come down the hill. If you ever hear your rear wheel skidding, it's an indication that you're not using enough front brake. In this example, I'll be using only front brake, and you'll see just how powerful and important that front brake is for maintaining control coming down steep terrain. And look, I'm not dying and I'm not going over the bars. For this drill, find a nice flat spot. I'm on grass, you might use some pavement. Approach at a jogging pace and practice gradually applying the front brake only. Once you feel confident on a pretty stable surface like grass or pavement, try switching to something like loose gravel or sand or dirt. As you start getting more comfortable using the front brake, try getting more aggressive and shortening your braking distance. If you find your front tire skidding, it's probably an indication that you're backing off of the front end too much. After you've done a few of these and you start to get comfortable, you can introduce a slope. When you practice drills like this, you're trying to isolate one skill in a greater collection of braking skills. Now, out on the trail, you're not going to be braking with just the front brake. But learning to get comfortable with it is going to give you a lot more intuition about how and when to use that front brake when you're on the trail. Learning to brake with your front brake is going to help you so that when you combine all of those braking skills, you will be a better rider. You'll notice yourself stopping a lot more effectively. And you'll also feel your weight shift forward a little bit, which is going to be scary, but I'll give you some tips to help with that. Tip number 1 is to dip your heels. Without having to do any other dramatic changing of your body position, this will drive your weight down through the bottom bracket and into the tires instead of being pitched over toward the front of the bike. Tip number 2 is to lower your hips. Your seat is out of the way so that you can bend your knees, lower your hips, and lower your center of gravity, pushing even more force into those dipped heels. To practice getting comfortable with having our hips lower, we're going to do a quick drill called the butt buzz. This one is super easy. All you're going to do is just ride along and keep lowering your hips till you feel your butt buzz on the tire. But what this is going to do is give you a sense for just how low you can get. If you've mastered the butt buzz on flat terrain, try taking it to a slope. So when I get far back like this, my arms are still bent so that my body can help absorb tricky situations that I might come up on the trail. But it's cool knowing you can get that low on the bike. Now I'm demonstrating bad technique with my arms locked. It's a lot harder to steer and balance on my bike because nobody's up at the front of my bike telling it where to go. When they're locked like this, I don't really have a stable position to turn my bike from. Shifting forward even just a couple of inches gives me a lot more stability in operating the bike. This is another reason why it's super important not to get a bike that's too big. Otherwise, you will always be dangling and stretched out on the bike too far. Tip number 3 is to keep a strong body position with your arms bent and keep your core nice and strong. You want to have your arms bent because when you're coming down a trail, you still need to be able to roll with whatever is in your way. But if you don't have a strong enough body position, if you're just kind of flopping around, that's when you're going to dance over the bars. So keep your body position firm and keep those arms nice and bent. Tip number 4 is to just keep practicing. If this is something that's really uncomfortable for you, the more you do it, the more confident you'll become using your front brake. If you're riding on a full suspension bike, just know that as you brake, it will tend to shift your weight forward a little bit more than a hardtail like this will. This giveaway is sponsored by Tailwind Nutrition. I've been using their products to fuel my rides for a while and I love them, and I'm super stoked that they're coming on as a partner with Dusty Betty. They make drinks that combine your energy bars with your sports-like drink so that you don't have to fill your gut with heavy bars and things while you ride. It's got the right balance of electrolytes and calories to keep you going without any of the yucky dyes or gross artificial stuff. Tailwind Nutrition loves seeing you guys get out on your bikes and get dusty practicing your skills. So they're going to be giving away to one lucky winner a 30-serving package of endurance fuel, 6 sticks of the recovery drink, and a Tailwind water bottle. In order to win the giveaway, you don't have to be the biggest, the baddest, or the best at any of these skills, but you do need to film yourself practicing the drills from this video and post a link to the video in the comments below. I'll be selecting one lucky winner at random to win the Tailwind giveaway. Good luck and get dusty!